everything is going up here, folks. I'm tempted. I'm going to put live chat up on the screen. Maybe I'm going to see if that what I was just talking about there while the music was on was I activated the live chat screen. I want to see if people that come into the live, if they see that it comes up on screen, if they'll actually chat something with me or not. Welcome to another Fitness Focus Freedom Friday here on the Mañana No Mas Rumble channel. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. It's become a thing. So it's been about, 5-6 weeks since I was just thinking one day, I was making a live and I said, Fitness Focus Freedom Friday, this is what we do. And being self-employed, being an entrepreneur, being someone that helps inspire other people to be entrepreneurs, this is a really strong message for me. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. If we time block our days and time block our hours and time block ourselves properly, we have the freedom to do the things that we need to do. I want to give you a really good example. For example, it is 1:25 p.m. where I'm at. I'm in Central Time. So it's 1:25 p.m. I have been super productive all morning. I've been super productive. I attended a couple of webinars. While the webinars were playing, I got some work done. I had a glitch in a piece of software that I was using. And so I had to go back and troubleshoot that and delete it and reinstall it and put in the license again and all those kinds of things. And I was able to get all of that done this morning. But here at 1:25 p.m. on a Friday, I'm going to finish this video and then take off in my camper van and drive on down to the gym and get my workout in for the day. Now, normally I'd like to go in the mornings, but I have the freedom. Here we go again. I have fitness and freedom on this Friday to kind of invert that, right? So I time blocked my space and my time so that I could be productive in the morning with work. And now I'm going to go and do the fun stuff, go to the gym, work on my fitness a little bit. Huge to me, huge. To try and explain why I am like this, maybe it's because I'm a cancer survivor. Maybe it's because when I worked for Ducati, I allowed myself to get extremely unhealthy in regards to weight and diet and fitness levels and things like that. What's funny, though, is even when I was that fat, my daughter in elementary school had a run a mile challenge. Like all the kids in elementary school, you got to run a mile. And parents were invited to participate. And there I was. I mean, I was close to 280 pounds. I'm only 5'8". And I went and ran the mile with my daughter. I've always been able to pull it out. I've always been able to say, hey, I can do anything for a short amount of time. That's kind of one of my catchphrases. I can do anything for a short amount of time. Could I run a marathon? No, I don't think I could have run a marathon. But can I run a mile with this kid? Yeah, I can force myself to run a mile. The thing is I didn't feel great after that mile. And after I left Ducati as a job and took the job with Suzuki and moved to Southern California, it was a big lifestyle change. And part of that lifestyle change was I cannot walk around at that weight. I cannot support that kind of weight. Walking upstairs was tiring, like just existing, like walking through the Atlanta airport was exhausting. And so I had to get to a point where I got some of my fitness back. And now I'm big into bicycling and mountain biking and cyclocross and all those fun things. So I really enjoy that. So again, on Fridays, I typically go Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. And today, the fitness, I'm going to go to the gym. It's great. Over the weekend, there's a bike ride that I'm probably going to be a part of tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Just staying active, doing some things. On a totally seemingly unrelated way, been cooking a lot of food here at the house. We've been smoking briskets. We've been smoking pork butts. We've been smoking our own bacon. I saw a special on how bacon is made, the stuff that you buy at the store, how that stuff is made. And we don't buy bacon anymore. We make bacon. Look it up. Go see how bacon's made. And then you're going to want to go buy a smoker. So we make our own bacon. Lots of salads, salads with protein on them. So let's say that I smoke a brisket. The next day, we're going to have the brisket, we're going to have some kind of vegetable, whatever. But the next day, I'm probably going to have sliced down brisket that's warmed up and then put over a nice, cool salad with some kind of Mediterranean dressing with nuts and cranberries or something like that. And man, that is so freaking good. It's like people say, "Oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy." You got to shop. My last trip to Sam's Club, I bought a whole brisket. I mean, I don't buy the flaps of brisket. I buy the whole stinking brisket. I bought a whole brisket for $3.74 a pound at Sam's Club. So when people tell me, "Oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy," I'm like, you just got to get in front of it. When I go to the store, my wife will say, "Oh, run to the store and pick up this or pick up that." And as I'm going through the store, if I see something that's on like a buy two get one free, get this price if you buy five. The last time I did that was olive oil. We got 4 different kinds of olive oil in my house. We're not running out of olive oil, but they had a brand that I like that was on sale if you bought 5 bottles or more. So I buy the 5 bottles, I'll put them in the cart. And when I get home, my wife is like, "We don't need any more olive oil." I'm like, "When am I going to see it at this price again?" When we use olive oil, because I think it's like the healthiest oil that I'm going to cook with here at the house, other than the tallow, because I use the tallow that I render from the briskets. But I'm like, it was on sale, so I got it. So I do that. Like once financially you can get ahead just a little bit. Once you can get ahead just a little bit on like supplying your house with stuff, well, then you can get into the proactive mode of shopping. Like when the house gets really low on uh supplies, gets really low on like certain spices and certain this, and then it happens sometimes, right? The house gets low on stuff, and then you run out to the store and you're like, "Oh, well, we need cereal, we need beef, we need chicken, we need pork, we need tortillas, we need sugar, we need salt, we need," and everything you're putting in the cart, it's not on sale because you need it, right? Because when you need it, now you're paying the convenience price, right? You're paying supply and demand values. But if you can stock up the house and you can get ahead of that being in need for things, and you can run out to the store once a week, once every 10 days, and you can say, "Hey, what's on sale?" Like whether you need it or not, if it's something that you normally buy, if it's something that you normally stock. And I use stock pretty figuratively. I stock things in my home. So if I see something and the price is favorable, I'm going to load up on it. And I'm going to be like, boop, 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 boop. I'm going to stockpile a little bit of it. Now, it's not like, during COVID and I bought all the toilet paper. I didn't do that. Right. But I mean, it's not like that. I'm not trying to hoard it. I'm just trying to stockpile it at the favorable price so that overall my spending will go down on the stuff that runs my home. And so that's part of what comes into focus. It's also what comes into freedom, right? Fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. Let's switch channels. Let's talk about some work stuff. Mañana no más. If you're not aware, if this is your first time coming into a live, first off, if you're live, it's great to see you. If you've come live, please know this goes out to multiple channels. Feel free to put your comments into the chat, and perhaps I can interact with you if I see something come in. I'm going to get you going here. I'm going to go out to all right here, and I'm going to say, put your comments in the chat. And that should carry out to everybody. So if you're seeing this live, put your comments into the chat. And as you can see, it came up right here in the upper right-hand corner. So if you put something up, I should see it come up across the screen there. All right. So another thing, I wanted to switch gears and talk about what does Mañana no más do. Mañana no más is an agency. Some people would say we're a digital agency, and that to me is a very broad subject. I do a lot of business consulting. I do a lot of training. I do a lot of mastermind facilitation. I do a lot of process development. Part of that process development then turns into curriculum development. And so we work a lot with enterprise learning companies, not necessarily the learning companies. Like I'm not saying it's not like we work with the universities. It's kind of the other way around. It's like, say you have a company that makes some kind of complicated widget, and you want to make content to teach new employees how to go through the processes that make those complicated widgets. My company would help you draft the curriculum that would teach people in a proper story arc how to effectively and efficiently create those complicated widgets for your company. And so we help people create that type of content. We also build the websites that host that content, and we provide the hosting and the maintenance for the sites that run that content. Kind of like the thing that we really, really focus on is for a large company, say it's a Suzuki, say it's a Ducati, say it's a BRP, say it's the Marine Retailers Association. It's anyone that's in that circle with us that kind of knows us a little bit. Um, they have e-learning content, but that e-learning content is typically hosted on a very proprietary system, or a system that was sold to them as, the option to run SCORM-based content. SCORM is a type of learning content. And so a lot of these companies have SCORM, and so they look for SCORM-based websites, and then they end up spending somewhere between 80 to 3, 4, sometimes $500,000 a year just for the hosting and maintenance to host the product, not to make it, not to help build it, not to manage it, but just to host that content. And our agency comes along and says, hey, what if we could take 60, 70, sometimes 80% of that budget that you're spending for that e-learning, and we could give that back to you as like a bonus at the end of the year. Like seriously, we can do this for about 20, 25% of what you're currently paying. And not only that, but the websites that we create that host that learning content, they actually have more features, more customizability, right? So they're able to customize the sites and brand the sites, and more interactive ability, right? So more integrations and more interactive abilities. We can put in customer resource management tools. We can put in social tools. We could let the students have discussions online with each other. We could let them share pictures and videos. We can do online support directly right through the learning product. It's unbelievable what we have the capacity to do. The trick then is to, of course, we work with these clients and we figure out, well, what's your actual use case? What are your needs? And how do we best match our available tool set to those needs? We never want to oversell somebody, but I never want to just say, hey, you have this really boring learning site that quite honestly your students hate. You have that now, and it costs you $150,000 a year. What if we could put you on something that costs $50,000 a year, but your students liked it and there was additional content in there, and you could actually kind of socialize or use your learning content as more of a marketing tool than a necessary evil. And so we really, really are sold out to that project. We do that quite a bit. The other thing we do is we help people with startups launch. You figure if we're the agency that can do all that complicated stuff for big enterprise level clients, it just stands to reason that we have a small team that can really focus on simpler websites for startups and keep people on budget and get them going. In fact, we have a local startup plan here in Kansas where we offer people a website as a subscription service. It's $200 a month for the first 12 months. There is no startup fee. There is no design fee. There is nothing like that. It's $200 a month. We get them going. We host it for them. We maintain it for them. We teach them how it works. And at the end of the year, if they make all their payments for 12 months on time, $200 a month, we reduce them down to just a hosting and maintenance account at $79 a month. That is just our way of paying it forward here with our local clients. And then we have stuff on a national basis that is very, very similar in its strategy. So we're pretty happy in that way. So fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. The fitness is I'm going to the gym, I'm riding the bike, I'm doing the thing, I'm eating right. All that's making sense. My sleep is good. That's great. Focus, especially right now. We are slow. We're not broke. Got to be careful how I phrase things. But Mañana No Mas is very much open for work right now. We've finished up a couple of large projects. and we have some gaps in our schedule. The good news for me with those gaps in our schedule is we have been able to focus on internal marketing, internal projects. For instance, I am completely rebuilding the Mañana No Mas website right now. I am using a new tool, a new page builder in the space called Etch, EtchWP. It's not even really like, it's still in beta, but I think it is revolutionary enough. And I want my agency to be seen as someone that's at the forefront of technology. So we're taking this brand new page builder that's not even, past its beta part yet. And we are building our entire business website on this beta version of software. And it is revolutionizing the way that some people work within this operating system, platform, CMS, however you want to phrase that. And so, because everyone's got different ways of saying things. For people outside the WordPress world, you probably would call it an operating system, or you would just call it a CMS. But I say CMS to people and they look at me like I got three heads sometimes. So however you phrase that, it's brand new software, brand new page builder stuff that's out. Like I said, it's still in beta, but we have been internally learning what we can about this page builder, its features, its benefits. One of the things is site performance. So one of the things that I'm focused on is I'm trying to build a um, very simple version of Mañana No Mas. I'll be honest with you, I was getting a little bit distracted, right? That's why focus is part of my Friday regimen. I was getting a little bit distracted and I was adding a bunch of tools to this website. And I was like, oh, let's try this and let's try that. And let's try this lead magnet. Let's try this email tool. And let's try, and it's my business site. It should perform well, right? But if I'm getting distracted and I'm adding in a bunch of tools and half of them I'm not even using anymore, I am cluttering up my own website. And when potential clients would go to Mañana No Mas and have to wait 3 seconds for a page to load, that's not a great sales tool anymore. So I'm redoing the Mañana No Mas website, and it's a painful experience. I'm be very honest with you. It's a painful experience, but I am redoing the entire website and I'm really cleaning a lot of things up. So I'm hoping that I can reduce my page load times by hopefully 75, in some cases 80%. And so if I could really increase my page speed by that much, I think that's really going to help with the perception of the tools that we build. Again, we build by nature as an agency, we have the capacity to build fairly complicated websites. And so it's normal when you know what's in the back end. It's kind of normal to go, oh, that's going to take a little time to load. It's got a big chunk of data with it. That's got 10,000 users in it, or that's, it's natural to think, oh, that could take some time. But for a person that doesn't know who we are and they're just visiting Mañana No Mas and they're like, click, and they look at the screen and it takes a while for the hero image to drop down. Well, that's not a positive, right? So really cleaning that up, speeding some things up, focusing on page speed, simplicity, lightness, things like that. I also didn't want to lose, any of the historical data that was in the website because, I mean, quite honestly, my SEO juice goes back to like 2014. So I don't want to just flush that away and have Google try to find me from scratch again. So I'm bringing over a lot of the old data from the old website into the new website. Then I'm lightening the design up and the plugin stack, I'm lightening up quite a bit. But all of that main content, all those blog posts, hundreds of videos, all of that is still in the site, right? And so the trick is, how do I keep all that content? And then build it in a way that is much more performative? And so that's coming together, and I think it's coming together really, really well. So fitness, focus, freedom, and it's Friday. Folks, I love you. I was trying to think, is there anything else I need to cover? No, there isn't. The Agency Action Show is just continuing to knock it out of the park. I'm thrilled to death to be on the team at the WP Minute and working on the Agency Action Show. Still just made another episode of the WP Tonic. We recorded that yesterday. We did that with James Welbus. James is also an Etch user. He's very active in that community, and he's a great web designer. Really fun conversation we had with him. He used to be on the Stellar WP team. If you're in the WordPress space, you would have known that name, Stellar WP. He once worked with LearnDash. And of course, I'm a Lifter LMS expert. So we're kind of in the same ballpark as far as that e-learning experience and expertise goes. We just pick different tools to play with, I suppose. Anyway, that was a really good interview. And then we did another show of the Membership Machine Show this week. And I enjoyed doing the Membership Machine Show with Jonathan because we're focused on, there are tools out there. Like let's not be blind. Let's not turn our back on. Let's acknowledge it, right? There's Creator LMS, there's Lifter LMS, there's Tutor LMS, there's LearnDash. These are all learning platforms. So why do we choose Lifter LMS or Creator LMS as the two that rise to the top for us? And then we have that conversation. And obviously I work with WP Tonic as well. And WP Tonic has cool hosting that includes all these plugins with it. So that part is pretty cool. Folks, I'm going to wrap this up. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to throw like some commercial stuff on this, right? Like, share, follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Like, I just would love to have these numbers creep up a little bit. We make a ton of content and I get a ton of comments and I see people emailing me, but it's like, hit that subscription thing. I mean, we're at like 102 subscribers and the goal is to get to 1,000, right? So if like, share, follow, whatever it is that you can do, that would be phenomenal. Again, Mañana No Mas is open for work. So if you've got a project, big or small, give us a shout. Go to mañananomás.com, click that, book a call thing. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what you need and figure out if we're the right place for you. If we're not the right place for you, chances are I know a good source for you. So you don't have to get yourself all wrapped up into, trying to figure it out. If I'm not the right one for you, I probably know someone I could refer you to. And then, I think that's it. That's all I'm going to hit you guys with today. Folks, it is Friday. Freedom, focus, fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. Fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. I encourage you, get out, get something going, start moving around. It's like my life since moving to Kansas is night and day. I'm telling you, to get things in the proper perspective, to get things on the proper priority tree, it has really been a game changer. And I can't encourage people enough to really take a moment and think about, how's your health? How is the focus that you have for things that you're working on? Like we're doing a complete rewrite of our website. We're working on internal marketing. We're doing blog posts, videos, we're on top of all of this stuff, but it's all coming with a sense of focus, purpose, and strategy. Freedom to me is so big. To move away from California and to reduce our overhead by 65%, it's amazing. It totally changed the way that we live life. And then, of course, there is, Friday. I love being able to finish up work early on a Friday and then kind of just be like, all right, cool. The rest of this is easy peasy. See you, folks. Have a good one.